Hello, my name is Willie White. I am recording another reaction to the Orange Couch series dealing with gender based violence. Today's episode, or the episode that I watched today, um, featured a young lady by the name of Famida. Famida was a Indian lady, an Indian Muslim lady, in the presentation, which brought in a different culture, brought in a different reality to the discussion of gender based violence, which for me was very interesting in the fact that she described her sheltered upbringing being one of family and orientation, and then she was afforded the ability to go out on her own. And when she got out on her own, one of the things that her excitement about first, her excitement about getting involved with newness and um, expanding her horizons, as many young people do at that phase in their life, was tragically interrupted as a result of a marriage that she got involved in. And early on into the process, one of the things that, well, many things that caught my attention was um, that she thought that her first love was her life, and this man would become her life. And he immediately began to indoctrinate her into a attitude of violence and submission. And she said that the first time that he hit her was the first time that a man had laid hands on her, which I thought was very revealing. The reality of the culture of respect of women in the Indian culture is something that I have found to be fascinating in some of my friends, and understanding some of the naive ways and views that I used to look at things from the fact of a treasured vessel. There's some different things that we look at in this that also stick out in the reality of longevity. She stayed married to this individual for 17 years. And I think that one of the things that enabled her to stay involved in an abusive relationship where her ex-husband beat her violently, was a statement that she said that her father made to her. Her father and her parents said, "You made your bed tough, now you have to lie in it." There were many people aware of the abuse that had taken place, or that was taking place. And over time, what we know to be true, the females in this situation who were once against the marriage bonded together in watching another female being abused by their brother, and they stood up for her. In that, she found the ability to begin the process of developing a voice. And so sometimes just being heard and being recognized and being acknowledged is the beginning of change. And so even though there's a conflict and an internal turmoil when a victim of abuse is attempting to separate, where in this instance her innocence had been robbed by this relationship and she had been indoctrinated into a position of submission, there was a difficult transition for her, or a difficult decision for her to be able to separate from that relationship. What was interesting is she kept making very generalized statements about being a woman and what women do, and which I found funny but not funny. Just this one spot in all of the things that she discussed as things that she was not okay with in the relationship. The one thing that gave her the ability and the courage to separate from him is when he cheated on her with another woman. We say, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned." And so, in this process of being able to understand the different dynamics of culture, the different dynamics um, that persist in the reality of the frame of an abusive relationship. This particular episode stuck out to me as to say that there is no one culture, there is no one system that is that produces this characteristic of victim or abuser. And so gender-based violence, when I my theme that I guess that I have in kind of connected to is the systemic reality of abuse and the far-reaching damage that it does, has reached and touched and all cultures across the span of the world, and we all need to come to the table and be able to discuss it in a way that we can come out of the problem and get into a process of healing and change and equality.